Hey everybody, me again. So, today we are going to be looking at a monologue from Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, which is another one of his comedies. If you'll take a look in the description below, as usual, there's a copy of the monologue. Take a moment, pause me, read it. It's another long one, but that's because there's a big chunk of it that is a letter. So, Twelfth Night, like I said, is one of Shakespeare's famous comedies. This one is one of his ones that deals with mistaken identity. In it, there are two twins, one male, one female, who they get separated. The girl decides to dress up as the guy because back then guys were taken more seriously, because sexism and all that. And eventually she and her brother get mistaken for each other. There's a whole bunch of weird stuff, and lots of people get married at the end. So, the monologue we're looking at is from a character named Malvolio. Now, Malvolio is the servant to Lady Olivia, who is a local noblewoman. And he has more than a passing infatuation for his employer. A handful of other characters, including one of Olivia's relatives, Sir Toby, figure this out and decide to play a trick on Malvolio. And what they do is they convince Malvolio that Olivia also loves him, which is not the case. She falls in love with the girl twin Viola, who is dressed as her brother Sebastian, and eventually marries Sebastian. I know, it's confusing. But essentially what happens is they trick Malvolio by giving him a letter that is written by Olivia's maid. Now, Olivia's maid says in the show that she can write nearly the same as her lady. So let's take a look at this monologue literarily. So, we are in Act 2, Scene 1. So we are just past the introductory act. Everybody's been introduced, and we're starting to get things going. This letter scene, and this monologue in particular, what it does is it springboards an entire arc of the play. So this letter is incredibly important from a moving the plot ahead standpoint. The entire plot with Sir Toby and his friend Sir Andrew cannot happen without Malvolio and his letter. So that's very important there. For the character, it drives Malvolio's arc for the rest of this show. Because in this letter that Olivia has written to him, she tells him to wear yellow socks, to be cross-gartered, which would be like a series of strips of fabric going and holding the socks up, to smile, all of these things. She says, these things make me super happy when I see them on you. And in reality, no. We find out that she absolutely hates the color yellow. She does not like cross-gartering, and Malvolio, being the stern person he is kind of creepy when he smiles. So yeah, basically everything that they put down in the letter is wrong. And Malvolio falls for it hook, line, and sinker. And so when he comes on a little bit later, he's wearing these yellow stockings with this cross-gartering and acting absolutely ridiculous in front of his employer. And he thinks that he's doing everything right to win her. Now, let's take a look at this from the character perspective. Malvolio starts out this piece puzzling through. There's a bit of a riddle that he finds at the top of this letter that makes him start thinking, oh, this could be about me. And then he reads the letter, and it's written in this beautiful writing that he's like, this has to be my lady's. It has to be Lady Olivia's, and oh my god, she loves me. He says very clearly, my lady loves me. And while yes, we as the audience know he's wrong, he is 100% convinced he's right. And that's what makes this particular piece very funny, is that he reads this letter, which, when Olivia looks at it later, goes, yeah, no, I didn't write this, buddy. And he goes, of course she wrote it. It's amazing. I'm going to be so happy. And then everything falls apart for the poor guy, but he doesn't know that yet. So when he gets it and he gets to the end of it, he's just like, yes, best day ever. So, I'm already running a little long on this, and I know this is going to be a longer one, so without any further ado, let's take a look at Malvolio. M-O-A-I. This simulation is not as the former, and yet, to crush this a little, it would bow to me. For every one of these letters are in my name. Soft, here follows prose. If this fall into thy hand, revolve. In my stars I am above thee, but be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon 'em. Thy fates open their hands, let thy blood and spirit embrace them, and, to inure thyself to what thou art like to be, cast thy humble slough and appear fresh. Be opposite with a kinsman, surly with servants, let thy tongue tang arguments of state. Put thyself into the trick of singularity. She thus advises thee that sighs for thee. Remember who commended thy yellow stockings, and who wished to ever see thee cross-gartered. I say, remember. Go to, thou art made if thou desirest to be so. If not, let me see thee a steward still, the fellow of servants, and not worthy to touch fortune's fingers. Farewell, she that would alter services with thee, the fortunate unhappy. Daylight and champagne discovers not more. This is open. I will be proud. I will read politic authors. I will baffle Sir Toby. I will wash off gross acquaintance. I will be point devise the very man. I do not now fool myself to let imagination jade me, for every reason excites me to this, that my lady loves me. She did commend my yellow stockings of late, she did praise my leg being cross-gartered, and in this she manifests herself to my love, and with a kind of injunction drives me to these habits of her liking. I thank my stars I am happy. I will be strange, stout, in yellow stockings and cross-gartered, and even with the swiftness of putting on. Jove and my stars be praised! Oh, here yet is a postscript. Thou canst not choose but know who I am. If thou entertainest my love, let it appear in thy smiling. Thy smiles become thee well, therefore in my presence still smile, dear, my sweet, I prithee. Jove, I thank thee. I will smile. I will do everything that thou wilt have me. And there's Malvolio. Tomorrow, I'm going to be tackling one of the big ones. We're going to look at Hamlet tomorrow. And also, by the way, I'm going to put a link to this in the description below. If you are ever interested in reading one of the plays that we're looking at, I highly recommend visiting No Fear Shakespeare. What it is it's a grouping of books created by SparkNotes, and what they do is they put the original Shakespearean text side by side with what they call a plain English translation. It's a really helpful resource for people who are unfamiliar with or trying to get into Shakespeare for the first time. So I'll put that link below, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye!